Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to guide you through a process of creating a complete end-to-end IoT solution using the Calypso IoT Design Kit and Microsoft Azure IoT Central platform. What we are going to do today is use the Calypso IoT Design Kit to generate sensor data as well as transmit this data wirelessly over the internet onto the cloud platform. Today, we are going to use the Azure IoT Central cloud platform where the data is going to be visualized as well as there is a possibility to send certain commands back to the design kit. Being Azure certified device as well as IoT Plug-and-Play certified, it is very simple and easy to connect the Calypso IoT Design Kit to the Azure Cloud Platform. Before we get started, let's go through the list of things that are necessary to go through this example. First, we require the Calypso IoT Design Kit, which consists of 4 different development boards. The Calypso Wi-Fi FeatherWing, which provides secure connectivity to the cloud. The Adafruit Feather M0 Express, which acts as the microcontroller board. The sensor FeatherWing, which consists of various sensors that are used to generate data in this case, as well as a OLED feather display from Adafruit. We also require a micro USB cable for power. The design kit itself and the micro USB connector are provided in the kit, and the boards are stacked out of the box and contain the right firmware necessary to run this example. It is also essential to have a Microsoft Azure account. If you do not have a Microsoft Azure account, please create one using the instructions on the Microsoft Azure website. Please note that it is necessary to have a credit card to create a private account. We, of course, would require a Wi-Fi network with internet access, as well as a Windows computer with a browser, preferably Chrome or Edge. Würth Elektronik also provides the certificate generator tool on request, and it is necessary to have this tool up and running to go through the demo. Let's get started. We can connect the Calypso IoT Design Kit onto the cloud platform using 5 simple steps. First of all, we're going to create the IoT Central application on Microsoft Azure. Then, we are going to create all the files that are necessary to configure the device to connect to the right platform. Finally, we are going to configure the IoT Central platform to allow connection of devices. Once this is done, we configure the device itself with the credentials necessary to connect to IoT Central. Finally, we connect the device to IoT Central, and it's time to see the data onto the dashboard. Without further ado, let's get started. Step 1, creating an IoT Central application. In order to create an IoT Central application, open the Azure portal on a browser and log into it. I have already logged into my Azure account. I'm now going to create a new resource. In the search bar, type in IoT Central, and from the results you get, click on the IoT Central application. Here you get a description of what IoT Central application means. Click on Create, and now enter the details of the application. First, you will need a subscription. If you don't have a subscription, you will need to create one. The same with the resource group. I pick an existing resource group, but if you don't have one, you can create new by giving it a new name. Further, the instance should have a name. I will call it Würth Elektronik. And the URL will take the same name as the resource name. From the template, drop down, use custom application and the region closest to you. Please make sure to select the standard 0 pricing plan in order to make sure that you have 2 demo devices that can be running on the platform for free of cost. Click on Next. In this, we don't have to do anything in this step, and click on Review plus Create. As soon as the validation gets through, you can click on Create. This will take a couple of minutes before the whole resource gets deployed on the cloud. Make sure that you wait for a couple of seconds before you actually access the IoT platform. Once the deployment is done, you will be able to see the IoT platform. As you can see, the Würth Elektronik's IoT Central platform has been created. And now you can click on Go to Resource to view the created resource. Here you have the IoT Central application URL. When you click on this URL, you will be redirected to the IoT Central application. That's it. You have created the new instance of a completely brand new IoT Central application. On the tab on the left, click on Permissions and Device Connections group. Here you get an ID scope. This is the ID that acts as the identifier for this instance of IoT Central. Please make a note of this particular ID scope. That's the end of step 1. Next, we go to step 2 in the process, which is actually creating device configuration files. In order to connect any device securely onto the IoT Central platform, certificates are necessary. We have simplified the device certificate generation process by developing a PC-based tool that can be used to generate all the certificates that are necessary to connect the IoT Design Kit onto the IoT Central platform. This tool is available on request. Please get in touch with our support team to download the tool. I have downloaded this tool. Let me open this. First parameter that we need to configure is the Wi-Fi network that the device will use to connect to the internet. Choose this from the drop-down and type in the password. Further, give the device a name, which is going to be its ID. I'm going to name this as test device. The device also needs to know the correct IoT Central platform that it needs to connect to, and this is identified by the ID scope. Let me copy the ID scope from the IoT instance we created earlier and paste it here. Now it's time to create the certificates. First, we will require a root certificate. So click on Create Root Certificate. This root certificate can be used to create multiple device certificates. Click on Create Device Certificates to create a device certificate as well as the private key. Click on Export All Files to save all the devices certificates that are created. Once this is done, click on Open File Explorer. This will open the location wherein all the files that are necessary for this example are saved. This brings us to the end of step 2. Next, we are going to configure the IoT Central in step 3. Let us now configure the IoT Central platform. So in the Permissions tab, open Device Connection Groups and create a new device connection group. You can call this device connection group as Demo Group and select attestation type to be X.509 certificates and create this by saving the same. Once this enrollment group is created, we need to upload the device root certificate that we created in the previous step. So let me browse to the location where I have saved all the certificates and go to device root certificate and click on device root CA file. Click on upload. As you can see, the device root certificate is verified. Once you click on save, the platform allows all the devices that are generated from this root to be connected to this particular IoT Central application. That's the end of configuration of IoT Central platform. Let us start the device configuration by first powering up the design kit. After a few seconds of initialization, the device comes to a state where it prompts the user to double-click on button C to enter configuration mode. Let me double-click on button C. Now the device itself is in configuration mode. In this mode, the device appears as an access point. Let me connect my PC to this access point. So the name of the access point is usually Calypso _ the MAC address of the Calypso module. Let me connect to this network. Once connected, the Calypso device will provide a page for configuration. This can be accessed by typing in calypso.net on your browser. Once there, click on the Azure tab and you reach a place where you can browse your folder to the place where you saved all the device certificate files and select all the files that are there in this particular folder. Click on Open and Upload. Once the files are uploaded, the device knows where to connect to and can securely talk to the cloud platform. Once this is done, click on Reset and allow the device to go through the process of connecting to the device provisioning service from Microsoft, getting the credentials, as well as finally connecting to the IoT Central platform. This might take around 30 seconds. As you can see, the device is now connected to the device provisioning service and it is trying to get authenticated. Once the authentication is done, it will connect to the correct IoT Central platform. As you can see, at this step, the device is already connected to the IoT Central platform. At this stage, the device is already connected to the IoT Central platform. Now let's go ahead and view the device on the IoT Central platform itself. When you click on the Devices tab, you see the test device, that is the name of the device that we gave earlier, appears in the list of devices. And you see it is already connected and online. You're already greeted with the dashboard that we promised earlier. So in the Overview tab, you see the acceleration, relative humidity, and pressure in a time series, also the current pressure, humidity, and temperature of the room that we are currently in. If you go to the About tab, you see different properties of the device. The telemetry frequency is the rate at which the device measures sensor data and sends it to the cloud. We have a battery voltage of 4.28 volts. This is basically the USB voltage that the device reads. The software version of the device, the unique address, that is an identifier that identifies the Calypso module itself, and the MAC address of the Calypso module. As you can see, the sensor to cloud communication is working. Now let us verify the communication from cloud to the sensor. In order to do this, we can actually change the color of the NeoPixel LED. As you can see, currently the color is green, indicating that the system is online. Now let us change this to red, for example, by typing in the RGB values for red. When you click on Run, you can see instantaneously that the LED color changes to red. Let me change this back to blue, for example, by typing in the LED color to be blue. And as you can see, the color changes instantaneously, indicating the communication from the cloud to the sensor is also functional. Let's revert this back to green. So this brings us to the end of this quick start session. As you can see, the IoT Central platform itself provides a lot more options. You can add your own devices. You can easily create more sensors and so on. You can also customize this application by changing the logo and appearance and so on. So perfect platform for prototyping. Get started with your own IoT project at the earliest and get up and running as soon as possible. Happy prototyping. Have a nice day.